She drove to her fiancé's mechanic shop, holding a bag containing his lunch, smiling with excitement. Both of them exchanged pleasantries. "Hey baby," Margaret said, standing by the garage door with a soft smile, her eyes searching for him among the noise and grease. Charles, covered in oil and sweat, turned around. His face lit up at the sight of her. "You brought lunch?" he asked, walking over and pulling off his gloves. "Of course," she replied, holding up the brown bag proudly. "Homemade, your favorite." He took it and kissed her on the forehead. That small act, that tiny kiss, it meant everything to her. It wasn't just love, it was a comfort, a home, a future. They sat at the back of the shop, on an old bench, the distant clinks of metal tools blending with the soft hum of a radio. Charles unwrapped the sandwich and took a bite. "Perfect," he mumbled with his mouth full. Margaret laughed, resting her head on his shoulder. For a few quiet minutes, they just sat, wrapped in each other's silence. It was in those moments she realized love didn't need grand gestures. Sometimes, love was a greasy kiss and a shared sandwich in a dusty shop. But love also needed money. Charles had been saving for years to open his own auto shop. Margaret, a nursing assistant, worked double shifts most weeks. They talked about marriage, a small house, maybe children one day. But dreams were always expensive. Later that week, Margaret got a call from the hospital. Not for a shift, something else. Dr. Yates, the research physician she occasionally assisted, asked her to come in. He was vague on the phone. "Just something I want to discuss," he said. She arrived at the hospital late in the afternoon, her scrubs still on from the morning shift. "Sit, drive," Yates said, motioning toward a chair in his office. He was an older man, always calm, always careful with his words. "We've begun a trial," he said. "It's experimental, a neurohormonal serum. It's supposed to enhance certain emotional responses, empathy, memory, attachment." Margaret frowned. "What do you mean?" "It's been tested on mice. Now we need human volunteers. There's some risk, headaches, mood swings, possibly more." She stared at him, waiting. "I can't legally ask you as an employee," he added, voice lower. "But if you're willing, off the record, it pays $20,000. One injection, observation for 3 days, $20,000. Her breath caught. She imagined it, Charles opening his shop early, getting married next spring instead of next year, paying off her mother's debt. "I'll do it," she said without thinking. He hesitated. "Margaret, don't rush." "I said yes." Her voice was steady. "Tell me when." 2 days later, in a sterile white room, she sat on a bed while drive. Yates injected a clear liquid into her arm. It burned slightly, then nothing. She was alone most of the day. Nurses came in to check her vitals. A psychologist asked her a series of questions. She answered them all the same way. She was fine. But by the second night, something shifted. She woke up crying. No dreams, no warning, just tears rolling down her face like rain from nowhere. Memories came flooding back. Her father's funeral when she was 12. The day Charles got into that motorcycle accident. The time she almost gave up on nursing school. Each memory felt sharp, as if she were reliving it. The feelings clung to her skin like cold water. She tried calling Charles but hesitated. She didn't want him to worry. He thought she was working an overnight shift. The next day, she was discharged. Her vitals were fine. Dr. Yates seemed pleased. "You might feel emotional for a few days," he said. "That's normal." She nodded and left with a check in her pocket and something unexplainable pressing against her heart. When she returned to Charles's shop, he smiled at her, wiping his hands on a rag. "Hey, missed you yesterday." "I missed you too," she said, trying to sound normal. But everything felt different. His voice, his touch, even his smell, it all felt more intense. Her love for him surged, overwhelming her. That night, she clung to him while they watched an old movie. He laughed at a scene, and she started crying. "What's wrong?" he asked, wiping her tears gently. "Nothing, I just love you so much," she whispered. He kissed her hand. "I love you too. You okay?" She nodded, but she wasn't. In the following days, Margaret began noticing things. Her emotions ran wild. A child crying on the street made her sob. A happy couple made her feel jealous and then guilty. She remembered things she hadn't thought of in years. Every word Charles had said on their first date, the dress her mother wore the day she left. She stopped sleeping. The world was too loud, too full, too heavy. When she finally told Charles what she had done, he sat in silence for a long time. $20,000, he repeated. Yes. He looked at her. Was it worth it? She didn't answer, because she didn't know. A few weeks passed. She quit her job. The hospital said the trial was ending early. Some patients reported long-term side effects, some worse than hers. The money helped. Charles leased a small garage and started fixing cars on his own. They celebrated with cheap champagne and homemade cake. But Margaret was changing. Some days, she felt everything, every whisper of love, every shade of loss. Other days, she felt nothing at all. She'd stare at Charles and wonder, would he have done the same for her? Would he have taken the risk? One evening, while folding laundry, she found one of his old shirts. It still smelled like motor oil and cologne. She sat on the floor and held it close, crying into the fabric. Charles walked in and found her there. He didn't say a word, just knelt down and wrapped his arms around her. In that moment, something in her cracked and melted. She realized the only thing stronger than pain was the power of an embrace. She clung to him, whispering, "I'm scared." "I know," he replied softly. "I'm here." They didn't fix it overnight. Love doesn't work that way. But he never let her go. Not once. Even when she screamed in her sleep. Even when she sat for hours staring out the window. Even when she stopped saying, "I'm fine." Charles stayed. Because love, real love, isn't about perfection. It's about staying when it hurts. Months passed. The money was gone. But the lessons stayed. Margaret started writing again. Something she hadn't done since she was a teenager. She wrote about the trial. About love. About sacrifice. About the danger of chasing shortcuts to happiness. One day, she handed Charles a page from her notebook. "I didn't take the injection for the money. I took it because I wanted to give you everything. I thought pain was a price I could bear alone. But love makes you share everything, even the breaking. I'm sorry for breaking. I'm grateful you held the pieces." He folded the paper slowly and tucked it into his pocket. "You'll be okay," he said. She nodded, this time with a small smile. "We will." The road ahead was long. Some memories still haunted her. Some nights were still heavy. But Margaret had learned something deep, something no injection could manufacture. Love is not a feeling. It's not a drug. It's not something you can inject or buy. It's a reflection of sacrifice, of pain, of staying, even when the world trembles. And above all, love is the arms that hold you when you can no longer hold yourself.